Attendees, I'm Yvette. Welcome to our session to the green hydrogen part. So next we will be hearing from 8 gorgeous excellent speakers. We have 2 very short presentations of 10 minutes in total, and then a panel discussion which we're going to take around like 40 minutes. There will be no Q&A session followed, but still can put words on question box or chat box. So our speakers have still got a chance to talk about the thing that you may be interested in panel. Also, the webinar is being recorded, and we will send a recordings link to your email address afterwards, as well as the slides by our presenter. And please remember the recording of our webinar is also free on our YouTube page. I'm going to give a bit of context about green hydrogen. So the green hydrogen is a hot topic getting more popular, as we all know, and of course has big potential in helping us to reduce the carbon emissions. I mean, we both know that the solar and wind energy can't really make everything clean, like for industries, making steel, filling vehicles, powering cars, trucks, ships, or heating, like something requires for higher temperatures than the traditional electric furnaces. So the green hydrogen is definitely the top zero carbon option, which can effectively decarbonize industries. But also we can't ignore that we still got many challenges, like we being a bit difficult and also having some kind of safety issues in transportation and in distribution and storage of green hydrogen. Also with the underlying costs, the technologies, the current limited scale economies, etc. Okay, without further ado, we will move on to our speakers. So we could learn more from them, of course. Our first speaker is Rubén Pozo, the hydrogen sector lead SWE at Veritas, who will introduce the market overview with a bit of data of green hydrogen. And we invited Enrique, the CEO at the Fernandez. He will also share some technology overview followed by Rubén. Rubén, are you here? Could you please turn on your camera and voice? I'm over to you now. Hey, Rubén, you mute your voice. Rubén, you mute your voice. Hey, Rubén, you mute your voice.
Rubén or me, Yvette?
Yeah, Rubén will have 5 minutes.
Rubén has already the webcam. Okay.
Thank you, Rubén. You could start. Could you please share your screen so our attendees can see your slides? Hello, Rubén. We can't really hear you right now. I think you mute your voice. Still can't hear you. Hi, Enrique. Or maybe you could just start.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Or maybe you could go fast.
I can try. Let's see.
Yeah, please share your screen.
I've tried to share my screen, but I don't have the
authority, the sharing screen.
The possibility.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
Is it okay right
now?
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Rubén?
Now it's working, no?
Yes. So
sorry, I just leave and go inside. Okay, I will start if you are agree, Enrique.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Rubén, are you able to?
Yes,
you should have the authority to do this. The right to.
I don't know if you see my screen.
Oh, yeah, very well. Could you
Okay.
please turn it on full screen? The full screen.
Okay, I will introduce a little bit a global.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, I will try to introduce a little bit which is happening in the electrolyzer market demand and the capacity, and what is happening a little bit only in the warranties of origin. The first input is this is a review of the global hydrogen roadmaps, all countries' hydrogen roadmaps around electrolyzer, and this represent the capacity that all these countries is publish all the hydrogen roadmaps in terms of electrolyzer capacity installed or in hydrogen demand, and this is an overview of all the demanding of the electrolyzer in the next 10, 15 years to the period of 2030, 2040. And it's very interesting to know how it's changing Europe in the next years between the objectives before Ukraine war with 40 gigawatts and the new repowering input that is going to install in, or Europe want to install around 100 gigawatts and imported 1 million of tons of hydrogen. And it's relatively important because this is a global overview, a global expectative about hydrogen demands in terms of electrolyzer and hydrogen demands in terms of million of tons. And it's overview of the vision of the countries. And with this vision of the countries, there are other main issues that is happening in the market, is what is happening with electrolyzer manufacturers. Last year, the global capacity of the manufacturers was around 1.67 gigawatts of capacity to produce electrolyzers. And this capacity, with all the published or news published by the manufacturers, is to increase to 10 gigawatts to 25, 2030, around 25, 2025. But with the Repower EU, with the new plans on Europe, they want to increase this power to 17.5 gigawatts. And this is relatively important because with this capacity of manufacturing, with this manufacturing capacity, all these electrolyzers will be covered the 1 gigawatts, the 100 gigawatts power capacity to 2030. But there are other problems in the future that are related to the global demand that is around 400, 500 to 2030, 2040, and this increase and generate new possibilities or new situation for new technologies and new manufacturers to cover this total or this global demand. And this is necessary to build confidence among governments, investors, and manufacturers in this relationship, because there's going to appear a new manufacturers and new technologies. And in particular in Spain and Portugal, there are other specific issues that is happening about the roadmaps that is published by Portugal and Spain. They indicate that the capacity installed in electrolysis around 4 gigawatts and in Portugal 2.5 gigawatts, but it's really disappearing other interests because in the last published European Clean Hydrogen Alliance in September, Spain published around 72 gigawatts of new projects around electrolyzer, around installation of electrolyzer. I think it's quite large related to the roadmap, and there are a lot of interest in Spain to be one of the main players in the hydrogen production, in the hydrogen green production in Europe. But there are other handicaps because nowadays, more or less, it's less than 30 megawatts installed in Spain and Portugal, and there are a big gap between these objectives and the realistic. Okay, there are other input that is important to assume or to understood in what is happening in the future. Is there are 100 projects that was presented to PERTE ERGA in Spain to hydrogen pioneers, and this project will have around 70% of this project will have funds to be applied with. If we take in consideration how much money are applying to this to this code. The other situation is what is the time, more or less, the timetable or the period to start the building up of new plants in Spain. Normally, we are in between 2 or 3 years situation when the project or the conceptual project is defined. This means that all these projects that we are talking about 72 gigawatts that is projected, or is an idea or a conceptual idea, they need at least minimum 2 or 3 years before to start to build the plants. And all these electrolyzers will require an extra capacity in renewable supply to produce all these hydrogens. There are other issues, specific issues that we need to talk in the panel or to discuss in the panel is related to what is happening with warranties of origin. And there are those situations in Spain that is happening. The Spanish government published in May Real Decreto 376/2022 that defines the warranties of origin for renewable gases. This Real Decreto is focused on the fact that it should include the warranty of origin for renewable gas and fuels, and identify the technical manager of the gas network as responsible until the government has its own. And this defines Enagas, the company that they need to define how is going to apply these warranties of origin, and they need to define, because with biogas or biomethane is more or less defined with the European schemes, with the approved or pre-approved European schemes, but with hydrogen there are some incognites, but with these incognites is more or less defined with the currently delegate draft that is published 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, more or less. Then they are around until 17th of June, there are the possibility to comment. And this regulation of this draft defines the regulation for renewable liquid and gaseous transport from non-biological origin, the RFBO. And this defines 2 types of connection to define renewable hydrogen or renewable gas. This will be defined to directly connected or renewable from the grid. And define this draft some situation that there are necessary the 36 months gap between renewable installation and electrolyzer. And if it's connected to the grid, the electrolyzer cannot be used in the energy at the same moment that the energy from the grid is to produce hydrogen. Okay, there are other point that this energy comes from the grid. They define some situation. One is about the same bidding zone, and if it's with 90% of renewable in the previous year, they can define it as a renewable hydrogen. But in Spain, we have a handicap at this moment, because we are the last years we are around 55% or 40% of the renewable in the total grid. And the other way is with power purchase agreements, that they need to comply some rules that is necessary to be in the same bidding zone, or in bidding zone close to the bidding zone 36 months, and the renewable energy without public support, without public subsidize. And they need to check in the same 1 hour. This defines that it's necessary to produce the hydrogen at the same time that you are producing the renewable energy. This currently situation about the hourly match of the energy is going to be a transitory period, and there will be a gap until January of 2027 that can be done with the same calendar. And all these situations is going to be defined more or less a market in the electrolyzers, a market in the hydrogen electrolyzer installation, and a market of what is happening in Europe and in Spain with the warranties of origin in a short future. And this is enough to talk about a short introduction, a short vision about what is happening in hydrogen in the market in Spain and Portugal.
Okay, thanks, Rubén. I will share my screen quickly. So, can you see my screen? Yes? Okay. So, for achieving all of these objectives, which Rubén explained, we are going to review which is the technology state of the art. No? Obviously, as these objectives are massive, all technologies are going to be needed. So currently, we have available alkaline electrolysis, which was the first one to be developed more than 100 years ago. And recently, proton exchange membrane electrolysis has been developed when the hydrogen cell started its development. And nowadays it is, currently it is commercial stage, so you can acquire this technology. It is expected from 2025 to 2027 to have available in a commercial stage photoelectrocatalysis that Sunrgyze is developing, and we will explain you later a few details about this technology as it is less well known in the market. There is also other technology which is under development, which is the solid oxide electrolysis. It is expected to be in the market from 2028 and onwards. And finally, the last technology which is under development is the anion exchange membrane electrolysis, which it is expected to be available in the market by 2030. Although, as all the developments are ongoing, this can be changed in the next years. So, focusing on photoelectrocatalysis, currently we are developing our first pre-commercial plant, which is going to be a plant of for producing 100 kilos of hydrogen per day. And this project has been awarded with a grant from European Commission under the program of Innovation Fund Small Scale. After we finalize this plant, we will launch commercially the technology to the market. And briefly, photoelectrocatalysis consists of taking directly the solar energy, transforming it into chemical energy, and dividing directly the water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen in different chambers. We are doing this in just one step and in just one device. And this allows us to have a better efficiency in terms of time to hydrogen, because we don't need to produce the renewable energy, then transform it into from DC into AC, and then again from AC into DC for performing the electrolysis process itself. And also the CapEx, it is lower because there is no need of power electronics and other equipment needed for other technologies. So quickly, because we are now out of time for this presentation, I've been summarizing the differences between the current technologies. This is an alive comparison because all the technologies are evolving and all of them are improving in the weaknesses and in the medium and long term, all of these characteristics will change. But going to the maturity, alkaline is the most mature technology. After this is PEM technology. And finally, photoelectrocatalysis, as we mentioned, we are still developing in a pre-commercial stage. In terms of durability, alkaline and photoelectrocatalysis, because the way they are working has long durability compared with PEM electrolysis. In terms of efficiency, the sun to hydrogen, talking about a PV plant plus electrolyzer, As we explained earlier, photoelectrocatalysis achieved the best efficiency. After this, PEM, and finally alkaline. In terms of capex, photoelectrocatalysis again has the lower capex, then alkaline, and finally PEM. In terms of not using expensive or scarce materials, alkaline and photoelectrocatalysis are very similar, while PEM is using platinum and other expensive materials. In terms of modular and scalable, photoelectrocatalysis is very similar to a PV plant, so you can make it as large as you want just by placing more panels or modules, while alkaline and PEM are facing the challenge nowadays of increasing the size of their electrolyzers. In terms of OPEX, the lower OPEX is for photoelectrocatalysis, then alkaline, and finally PEM. In terms of high purity, PEM achieved the best purity directly from the electrolyzer, and alkaline and photoelectrocatalysis has very similar percentage. In terms of bias-free operation, only photoelectrocatalysis can run without the need of the connection to the network. And in terms of warranty of origin, as Rubén mentioned, now it is still has to be developed, and there are only drafts, but for the photoelectrocatalysis, it is already produce the green hydrogen, while for alkaline and PEM, if connected to the network, they need to fulfill some requirements in terms of hourly correlation, etc. And in terms of fast response time, PEM technology achieved the best result, then photoelectrocatalysis, and finally alkaline electrolysis. And this was just the brief introduction. So now, Yvette, or who is leading, or
Hi, I'm linking.
Raúl?